This lesson is going to deal with multiplying and dividing rational expressions, and it's actually a little bit easier than the adding or subtracting because when you're adding or subtracting, you have to have common denominators, but with multiplying and dividing, you do not need common denominators. So we're going to simplify these expressions by multiplying and dividing, depending on what the problem says. So there are a couple things that you have to know. First thing is to simplify a rational expression, that means you need to factor and then cancel out common factors. It's really important, and make sure there's one in the top and one in the bottom, so numerator, denominator. Division is really just multiplying by the reciprocal, so we're going to use this thing that I call keep, change, flip to help you remember to do that with division. And then for any expression to be undefined, find the x values that will make the denominator 0. Or I guess it doesn't always have to be x, whatever your variable is. But that's just because 0 is the only number that we can never divide by. All right, so we're just going to jump right into it. So here's your very first example, and these examples I did put on Edmodo with the like printed out on a sheet of paper. You can print that. It's a PDF file, so you don't have to write out all of these problems, just because you want to make sure you have the original problem correct, and it's an easier way to get that. Okay, so let's go ahead and just start with this problem. So the first thing that we need to do is factor. Well, the top part is already factored, so there's nothing we need to do there, but the bottom part, this needs to be factored down here. So I'm going to go ahead and leave the top as it is, as 4y times y minus 3 times y plus 4. At this point, you have done a lot of factoring, and you should be getting pretty good at it, and you shouldn't need me to do the step by step, so I'm going to just skip ahead and just factor this right into y minus 3 times y plus 2. And from here, everything is factored. It's one fraction, so we just start canceling things out. Y over y, that's a 1. Y minus 3 over y minus 3 is a 1, and nothing else is in common, or nothing else has the same factors. So our final answer would be 4 times y plus 4 over y plus 2. And you don't need to multiply that out. You can just leave it just like this. This is totally okay. And then from here, the last part is where is it undefined? Well, the part where it's undefined is where you would set your denominator of y plus 2 equal to 0 and solve it. So it is undefined at y equals negative 2. All right, now your second example here. In this example, it's multiplication, and when we multiply, we go straight across. We don't do any cross multiplying. That's when it's a proportion with an equal sign in between, so we just go directly across. So 12 times 14 is 168. Then we have all of our variables, c cubed, d squared, a squared, b, over 21 times 8 is also 168. And I'm going to reorder these variables just so they're lined up, c, d, a, b. So c squared comes next, d, a, b. So now we do our division. So 168, 168, that's a 1. C cubed over c squared. Remember, when you divide them, what you end up doing is putting them, you subtract your exponents and put the leftovers wherever your higher exponent was, so this goes on top. D squared over d, so this is also going to go on top. And then a squared over a, that's also going to go on top. And b over b, that is a 1. And so our final answer is just c, d, a, with nothing in our denominator, or in this case, it's over 1, so CDA. All right, number 3. So again, just multiplying, which means we need to multiply straight across. The easiest thing every single time is to factor. So in this case, to factor here just means to take out the greatest common factor. We can't do anything other than that. So I'm going to factor a 4 out, leaving us with 2x minus 5 over, and the factors for the bottom part are x plus 7 times x minus 5. And then what we're multiplying by is the factors x minus 5 times x minus 2 over, I'm going to factor a 4 out, leaving us with x squared minus 4. Now this can be factored further because it is a difference of squares, because x squared is a perfect square and so is 4. So I'm going to go ahead and combine that part up top, or well, actually I'm not going to do that yet. So 4 times 2x minus 5 over x plus 7 times x minus 5. And then our x minus 5 is up top here, x minus 2 is up top. We factored a 4 out, and then we can factor this piece. And remember, we get to do the little skeleton. One is positive, one is negative. The square root of x squared is x, so we put that in the first spot, and the square root of 4 is 2, we put that in the last spot. Now we just multiply straight across, and sometimes what I'll do with the multiplication is I'll kind of just extend it, and maybe I should do this in a different color, but I'll just extend this straight across to remind you that all you're doing is going straight across. So this one now becomes 4 times 2x minus 5 times x minus 5 times x minus 2 over, and I'm going to go ahead and bring this 4 up front, so 4, and then I'm just going to write all the other factors, x plus 7, x minus 5, x plus 2, x minus 2. And then we need to start canceling. So 4 over 4, that's a 1. X minus 5 and x minus 5 is a 1. X minus 2 and x minus 2 is a 1. And everything else, it does not have anything in common, so we're left with 2x plus 5, minus 5 on top. And then our denominator is x plus 7 times x plus 2. And that would be your final answer. All right, now number 4, because this is division, we're going to employ the rule of keep, change, and flip. So what that means is we keep our first fraction exactly the same as it already is. So I'm just rewriting it. We're going to change this to a multiplication sign, and we're going to do the reciprocal, so 7a squared b squared over 24m cubed. And so all I did was flip the second one, and you only do that because this is division. So now just multiply straight across. So again, if you need to, you can kind of fill this in and just do that to remind yourself to go straight across. And 16 times 7 is 112. And then all your variables, mt squared, a squared, b squared, over 21 times 24 is 504. I'm going to put the m cubed up front just to keep it lined up, and then a to the 4th b cubed. Then we go ahead and simplify. 112 over 504, that's going to simplify down to 2 over 9. M over m cubed, so that's going to move down to your m squared, and it goes in the bottom, so it's your higher exponent. T squared doesn't have any common factors in the bottom. A squared over a to the 4th, that comes down, so a squared down here, and then b squared over b cubed, b in the bottom. So there's your final answer for number 4. All right, and now one more. So again, because it's division, that means we're going to keep, change, and flip. So we keep this as x squared minus 9x plus 20 over x squared plus 10x plus 21. We change to multiplication and we flip the second one. 6x plus 42 is now our numerator, and we're dividing by x squared minus x minus 12. And so now all we do is extend this so that we multiply, or I'm sorry, don't do that yet. Not yet. We want to factor first. Make sure you factor. So this one is going to be x minus 4 times x minus 5 over x plus 3 times x plus 7. And what we're multiplying by, all we can do here is factor out a 6, leaving us with x plus 7 over x minus 4 times x plus 3. Now we can extend this to say we're just multiplying straight across. And all I'm going to do is just put the 6 up here in front. So it becomes 6 and then x minus 4 times x minus 5 times x plus 7. And that goes over x plus 3 times x plus 7 times x minus 4 and another x plus 3. And we go through and do any canceling. 6 doesn't have a common factor in the bottom. X minus 4 has a common factor. X minus 5 does not. X plus 7 does. So we've canceled out any common factors, top and bottom. So now we can write our final answer of 6 times x minus 5 over x plus 3 times x plus 3. And the only step further I would go would be to do the bottom part, rewrite this as x plus 3 squared because it's the same thing twice in a row. And there's your final answer.